Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome the country director, Mr. Adrian Bukenya, our great friend. You're very welcome.
Good afternoon. I thought the MC had said there was no protocol being observed. I see protocol being observed. You're breaking your own rules. Scholars, please don't break your own rules. You're very welcome, and congratulations to all of you. And indeed, I do stand on all the protocol that has been existing. So, good afternoon. This is a special day for a number of you, and it's a very special day for me as the country director for the Mastercard Foundation. I've been in this role for about 3 years now, I think, 2.5, somewhere there. And in that time, I think one of the speakers, it was Nakachwa, mentioned that the 10 years elapsed, or were elapsing. So when I joined the Mastercard Foundation, the first scholars program was coming to an end. And we had very, very deliberate engagements with the university to see how best we can understand how we did, what we learned, how the young people who actually experienced the scholars program felt, and what could we do more, given the fact that when we saw the young scholars and how they applied themselves when they graduated, it was important that we continued this legacy. But as was said earlier, the legacy needed to be enhanced. So it took a bit of time. We took a bit of time to just make sure that when this cohort joins, it joins in an even more fulfilling experience. So I'm really glad that you were able to make it. We've listened to how intense the selection criteria is. But for me, it's actually heartwarming that that is the level of consideration that is made to make you a scholar. The world that we live in is not easy. Each of you has an individual experience that is unique to yourself, that definitely you have worked very hard to get to where you've gotten to. But the reality of the world is that it doesn't stop there. Whereas we appreciate that the Scholars Program is an extremely deliberate opportunity to support future leaders, future transformational leaders, harness their leadership capability. The fact that you got through that selection criteria is testament that you actually deserve to be here. You're here on merit. It was said before, the selection criteria is fair, it's transparent, but most importantly, you are worth being here. So there's a statement, I think it was Laja Margaret, who was very focused on the 6%. We also had a lot of statistics around different percentages of what was considered. Let's take 6%, for example, as a number. South Sudan has 12 million people, just below 12 million people as a population. And the world has about 8.2 billion people. What I want you guys to take away is that forget about the selection criteria. You are one of one. So you are 100% of who you are, which means don't get bent or bothered that you came from one place or the other. where you are now, it is because you deserve to be here. And therefore, while you're here, make the most of the opportunity. Yes, because at the end of the day, you will be even more unique than you were before you got into the program for two reasons. One, you're coming into a very, very prestigious institution. This is the best university in Africa, close to being one of the best universities in the world. It hosts, or hosted, again, forgive me for the stats, a number of East African presidents passed through those gates. So they sing the same song that you do. A number of significant scholars pass through the same gates that you do, and they sing the same song in terms of Makerere University. So you are one of them now. So the first thing you need to recognize is that you are, was it the university chose you? That's what they said, yes? Makerere chose you. So that's one thing you have to be proud of. The second bit is the Scholars Program is very deliberate about you. The Mastercard Foundation, when this gift was bestowed upon us about 18 years ago, there was a strategic choice to focus on a couple of things. One, a study was done around where is the biggest need in the world where the foundation can apply its gift. And that study stated in about 2006, 2007 that the world, I said the 8.2 billion people in the world, is growing old. This is about 18, 16, 17 years ago. And Africa is growing young, meaning that we're getting younger and younger. This is 18 years ago. I think if you read the papers and reflected on our census, that situation has become even more intense. The world is growing older in today's terms, and we are growing even younger. So there was a strategic decision by the foundation to focus on young people. And when they said young people, they said we needed to focus on young people in Africa. We also focus on young people with the indigenous populations in Canada because that's where we are registered, but we only program in those two geographies globally because the future of the world's workforce is coming from the continent of Africa, and we believe that if we invest in the young population of this continent, we will make the world a better place because we will make our future workforce ready to take on the responsibility. We have two charitable purposes. One is the advancement of education in the bid to alleviate poverty, yeah? And then the other is directly alleviation of poverty through interventions that leverage access to finance, etc. You're in the first intervention in terms of our charitable purpose, which is the advancement of education. And so the Scholars Program, which has been alive for about 12 years, broadly, has been at Makerere University now for 11 of those 12, 2013. Yes, and we are now starting the second cohort, the second 10-year journey with you as our pioneers. So congratulations once again on that. So as I said, you're very special. However, with that specialness comes a big responsibility. You now have to take advantage of this opportunity that you have. As I said, you're one of one to make a difference in your own communities because your whole community is looking at you. The whole world is actually looking at all of you because at the end of the day, you're going to be the ones who lead this world going forward. So do not take that for granted and enjoy your experience as you do it. Now, to the university, and specifically to Professor Justine and my friend, Professor Nawangwe. A couple of weeks ago, we asked the university to join us in a partner forum So we do a lot of work in different places in Uganda. One of them, as I said, is intervening in the education space. But we have a lot of partners that enable young people access dignified and fulfilling work. You heard it a little bit earlier when we were being introduced. So we have a commitment of enabling 30 million young Africans access dignified and fulfilled work by 2030. Uganda's contribution is 4.3 million young Ugandans, of which I'm hoping you 100 that I'm looking at right now, at the end of your courses, will transition into work and will count you too. So the work that we do beyond the university tries to create interventions that enable that transition to happen. So once you get into the world of work, we hope that you can continue to interact with the foundation and see how best we can move forward. And doing that through the Alumni Association is one of the critical things. But we had a convening of all our different partners. And in that convening, we were discussing an interesting topic. We're talking about impact. In terms of when you do something, what impact does it leave? Yeah, and in that case, we were reflecting on the work that we do and seeing how best we can align with our implementing partners and deliver on the impact. So for your consideration now that you're starting this journey, have impact at the front of your mind. The impact of this opportunity on yourself. Nakachwa spoke about being responsible for the opportunity. Her mom, Mchalana Chitto, spoke about take advantage, be responsible while you're here. That's impact. Those are impact statements. Like, be impactful when you have this opportunity. You could be the next president that we're talking about. I think the Guild president was here. He might have left now. But yeah, a number of our senior politicians were in that role every time they've passed through. I think nearly every one of them who has been a Guild president has moved there. So you can be that person who makes the difference. When we were at that convening, we had a specific topic that is why I'm thanking Professor Justine and Professor Nawanga, where we spoke about the well-being and the safeguarding of the young people who interact with our programs. And I wanted to make a special thank you to the university here. I hadn't thanked you after you appeared and we hadn't spoken, but this is now officially, because it's recorded. Thank you for sharing the experience that the Makerere University has had in transforming their approach to the well-being of students like yourselves as they experience life at the university. It's one of the most fundamental things that people take for granted is just how do you feel when you're here? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like you're listened to? And I believe the university is continuing to make very big steps to ensure that your experience as you join is one that is memorable and that has a lifelong impact on your well-being and your communities. So as I conclude, a few words of advice. I asked my wife before I came here, I said, what would you want to hear as you entered university? As you're sitting, if you're sitting on that side of the dais, and what would you want to hear? I'm sure you're excited. They said it. I believe it was the speaker who said that you must be very excited. You must be nervous. That's good, but we've been out of university for a while now, so maybe listen to a couple of these considerations while you're here, because, you know, the young stick is the one that can be bent and shaped. So you want to bend yourself and shape yourself into somebody who can live in a world after university. So there's a lot of good opportunities you're having now. One of the things I want you to make a very deliberate effort on is to manage your finances. Don't take that for granted, that understanding how to handle yourself in terms of whatever resources are coming to you or will come to you or you will create as an entrepreneur, and you'll be all good entrepreneurs, that you manage those effectively. You are in a university. So if you're not in the business side or the finance side, you have a lot of people around here who can help you understand how to manage your finances. Make that one of your personal objectives, that whatever it is I do, my some money is sorted out and I know how to handle it and grow it. Learn how to invest. So manage your finances, that's one. I mentioned it earlier. Do not forget where you came from. One of the critical tenets of the Scholars Program is we are trying to encourage the growth and the development of leaders of the future. And the leaders that we aspire to develop are those within the communities they came from. So do not forget where you came from. Become an asset to your community. And lastly, this one is my own advice to you. How many students are presently on campus in terms of the population for like this year? 37,000. It's a sub-county. Seriously. You do your geography and your civics. It's a sub-county here. Grow your network. As I said, you might be talking to the next inventor of the electric vehicle, the electric buses that we're going to ride in shortly. They came from here. Next, Uganda Crane's captain could be seated next to you. Yeah? The next entrepreneur who has the biggest idea is here. All those assets are right in front of you and they're around you. Get to know these people, build your networks. Why? Because when you get out, it is not the university who is going to help you get a job. It is not the Mastercard Foundation or any other benefactor who's going to get you a job. We hope that you can create your own work going out there and being the change that Mahatma Gandhi said we should be. So I wish you guys all the best. I'm excited that you're the first of many for the next 10 years. I look forward to interacting with you a lot. I'm very, very passionate supporter of the Scholars Program, and I congratulate you.